Yeah, usually the STV outlines are pretty helpful.
I think there was some stickies over there that my demo just ignored.
Interesting. Definitely good to just detonate the doorways or wherever stickies are called at first, yeah. After that, I'd probably spend a little bit of time spy checking if you, yeah, one of the reasons you'd want to use STV is for the free mouse click, but if you look on the left side rocks, as you're coming out, you usually spy check around there. You can occasionally find spies clipping onto, like, the tops of the rocks there. And then just around these little rocks, sometimes spies will like to go for stabs on heavies or snipers or demos when they peek up there. Pressure across porch, so that's fine. I would say maybe practice the detonation timings a little bit. Definitely also I'd recommend either spy checking or detonating the roof on the right side as well, all along there. And then occasionally the corner of the spawn, like on the left side there as you come out.
Oh, you mean like right there? Where I just passed?
Yeah, pretty much like behind the spawn,
Okay.
like with the barrel. And those are usually your upward spy spots.
Yeah, I didn't do a lot of spy checking here.
Mostly doing spam, but I think your spam could be a lot more efficient here. You should be like targeting more and like aiming a little bit over the gun to hit the engineer, which does happen there. You're not really getting much done if you keep hitting the gun for like 8 to 20. So it's like I'd say either make sure your players don't get stabbed, deny spam for them, or just like single target focus like sniper, demo, NG, stuff like that. Maybe try and detonate the corner and get the medic injured consistently. Besides that, though, if your team isn't actively pressuring it with you, you can keep spamming a bit, though I would recommend maybe just trying to clear out spy a bit more here. It's a little bit too much time just straight looking forward, not getting much done. Probably check around the flank a little bit behind the right side of the flank house, that would work.
I don't know why I ran in there.
Yeah, it's a bit late. I would definitely say like either be in towards the start of that to make sure players can get out, or just like stay safe, passive with your medic, and protect for your medic there.
Yeah, I have no idea why I did that. I guess I thought we were moving in.
If your team has like a VOD of the stream with comms or anything like that, you could view that and maybe get a little bit of insight in if you called anything or like if anything was being called there. Yeah, a decent bit of the time they'll have traps around there. You usually just want to like detonate around there, wait for an exchange to go in. It seems like your team just keeps staggering a little bit and peeking a little bit out of sync. You see here how you're still losing players after your demo and Pyro died. Now you're down 4 more. So it's gonna be a bit hard for you to do that much here. Definitely just keep detonating from a safe distance there. I'd say back up a bit sooner even. Since you see their entire team's gonna turn for you, here you're just trying to ping some players while your team's rolling out. Yep, now you focus on denying the Uber pop their power up. Yep, you're playing Overwatch. Let's see whose ult is better. Maybe chase a little bit here. They're down heavy, you're down demo? Nah, probably not. Get a little bit of space, but honestly, probably tell your heavy to just not push. In this case, you see your down demo, you're not gonna get much space hill there once they get their gun in position.
Our heavy yelled at us for baiting him right after that.
That's on your heavy there. He's not gonna be able to clear all of that by himself.
It was a ringer.
That's fair. So I'd probably just like, tell the heavy not to push in there. Yeah, it could be a bit assertive because it's just like pushing there and not gonna accomplish anything when you're down the demo man. It is good to like try and chase and be aggro like with bombs, stuff like that. But it's not feasible there when you're already down demo. You're not going to get space on hill. Unless they're down a lot as well. Spy checking a combo here. Sure. Combo uses. Around the corner so you don't get popped up. Yep.
Don't know why I'm still spy checking.
Just making sure spy doesn't drop down from apartments. That's pretty reasonable. I'd suggest maybe pushing forward or like playing a little bit closer to your combo there, because if they try and go through the doorways to chase your combo or spam through that doorway over there in the porch, then you can just entirely deny it there and your medic and demo can hopefully get out, or at the very least you're taking the fight together. It's like you could be playing a lot closer to your combo while you're checking there. Definitely like when they're trying to be forward there, you gotta stick with your combo and support them, I'd say. Yeah. Drop down, sure. Your blast cart, yep. Probably be spy checking up top here. You don't really want to be spy checking, just like most of the essential ways at this point. Like specifically here, you're looking for a spy drop down onto your medic or a spy trying to walk into the house. Like their spy is already going to be in kind of probably around like tracks or so, or just kind of in general there. It's like you don't need to be spy checking like every little like a corridor in the open on third there. It's just you need to watch for like the zones of transits, but especially the drop down area, like especially apartment spies will normally be giving intel from up there calling, because it's like you're not going to randomly just like jump up there on the attacking side once you're on like once you're on a house. Whoops. Need to catch spy around. So that's I pushed the tuck key, keeps sending my cursor off the screen. Cool. You go forward on the Uber exchange, shove them a bit backwards. Yep, definitely don't want your combo to get boxed in there. Kill them with that skit. Air blast your medic, yep. Look behind in case there's any flankers, yep. Scout flanks, yeah, your combo spends a bit too long without other people in position there. I'd say either focus on just watching behind for flankers there, or holding right click in that door while you're demoing speaking it. You don't need to be flaming there at all, unless you're actively taking a fight. Spy gets out lower, don't chase, yep. Combo walks straight in, sure. Soldier bombs. Watching behind, okay, yeah, sure. Here you could either drop down and play cart, or just make sure nobody walks in up top, but you combo. They're down most of their players though, so you drop the cart here, air blast any players off the cart, yep. Get the ammo. I think this is a bit of a chase here. You can just sit on cart, keep getting the ammo, keep getting healed by the cart and or medic. And then if the spy goes towards the cart, you can just keep air blasting him, because if there's anybody on the cart, they have to get past you to stab them there. You do get the cart in, so that's good. It could be a little bit faster if you play closer to cart there. Like the main goal you're doing is just air blasting any bombers off cart, air blasting any spam off cart, so they have to come down to meet you there is very vital. And then just, yeah, making sure it gets anything that happens anyways. They're down most of their players to keep staggering, but it could be a bit better there, yeah. You don't really need to leave the cart for ammo or health as long, like, especially not ammo. And then it's like, you don't really go for the spy chase there. What's that?
I don't really know why I did it, you know?
Ah, that's fair. Sometimes stuff happens, it gets chaotic, especially on last. But you just gotta realize that you as the power is so important to getting the cart up there. Because you could just prevent any enemies from recontesting it. Like, if the spy wants to stab, like, you are on the cart there, you can just right-click. He can't kill anybody if everybody's playing cart. So it's just like, yeah, there's so many little aspects of denial you can achieve there by just directly playing on the cart. Important to do for sure.
Do you like running the power jack as a home wrecker on defense? Because I think I swapped to power jack later, or home wrecker later in this.
I'd say home wrecker for first, definitely. Home wrecker for third, definitely. For last, you're not really playing with NG, so you can do power jack, do a little bit of mobility, especially around lower. Like, the rotations are super important. Second, probably homewrecker as well. Usually I'd say like homewrecker is just a lot better to do on defense as long as you're relatively playing around engineer. Like, a lot of the time what will happen is that like your engineer will just like die, and then there'll be an instant death sentence for your gun. But then if you have the power alive with homewrecker, like, your gun's chances of survival exponentially go up there. Or like, if your engineer gets stabbed but the spy dies, you can still salvage it. It just opens up a lot of chance for human error on the enemy team side of things. That being said, personally, like, I kind of just jump out and run power jack 24/7. But I think, like, objectively speaking, homewrecker is going to be a lot better on defense here, since it's like you're not doing a lot of roaming or rotating anyways. And it's just super important for your gun not to go down on defense here. Last, though, definitely Power Jack, in my opinion. The difference being, like, here you can kind of just walk around everywhere. Same for, like, third, you don't really need mobility for anything, but then on last, if you, like, get out-rotated or you have more poor mobility during rotation, then it's a bit of a death sentence. Like, that little bit of an extra speed boost combined with the fact that you just aren't really playing that close to gun a lot of the time makes it a lot better there. But then it's just first, third, second mostly. And second, I'd say is a bit more open-ended, because it's like a bit wider when it comes to where you play. So I'd definitely, like, I could see Power Jack for a second, but just think about first and third, yeah, you're not roaming around or, like, rotating that far. And you're playing very close to gun a lot of the time, so why let gun go down, yeah. With Power Jack, it's a lot of just, like, do I need this little bit of mobility to, like, make exhortation or cross this sight line or get in without being, like, caught out, kind of, yeah. It really helps during exchanges with mobility in general, so on and so forth. But then if you don't need to, it's just, like, really good to run power, like, Homewrecker, and just not let your gun die a lot of the time. Good Uber exchange to now, yep. Proactively peek when they try and drop down or play corner, and they'll go flying. That being said, the gun spot's a little bit more forward than you'd usually see. And then there's also a certain tendency for soldiers to bomb and just clean up on anything playing around the corner, so a lot of the time teams might just rotate tracks instead at a third point. Usually like after you already lose gunner players or presence though. Doesn't seem like the enemy team is doing a whole lot to pressure quarter. Your team's getting very forward though, so it seems like your team is definitely taking advantage of the space the enemy team's giving them. I would say there you're probably just mostly playing for spy, making sure your gun doesn't get sapped, because if your gun gets sapped they just bomb and everybody in the corner gets rolled. Make sure medic doesn't die, make sure sniper doesn't die. Spies love going in around like the tracks and like the little backline area around there. A lot of the time they'll hug the little wood on the right side, like a little bit behind the barrel. Can't really showcase it that effectively from the POF demo pretty well. Yeah, the like the little corner there near the tracks, like they'll play towards the wood there, and it's like I don't know. You can be flaming the drop down a little bit as well. I don't think you're really actively looking for it, especially if your team's not peeking it there. Part's super important there. Heavy should be aware of that though. Like it should be getting called out. Spies dropping onto him. You don't necessarily need to be playing that close to cart. Happens though. You have a pretty good time here as long as you keep to 930, you'll be fine. Does that happen though? That's the $1 million question.
Pretty sure. This game did go on forever though.
Yeah.
We played the first round, and then there was like an error with the config, so it just ended on the second point.
Right.
So we had to play again.
Most of your team is just playing super forward. And you could be spy checking CS a bit more, making sure spies don't go in from there. If your snipers take a super wide peek and isn't getting contested, you can peek super aggressive towards roller coaster with them for a little bit, or just like detonator around there is what I'd suggest doing usually. Because it's like, even though your sniper is peeking that right, you still lost a player to sniper. That player could have been you instead. So I'd just suggest like detonating a lot around like. What'll happen a lot of the time is that spies will just go for a stab from like the little bit of roller coaster right below your sniper there, like on the middle tier of wood. And it's just like, if you detonate right below where your sniper's playing, you're gonna hit the spy. Your players near them might hear or like see that the spy's on fire. You might not necessarily call it yourself, but usually like somebody else would call it there, and then it's just like you watch CS as well, and then it makes it a lot harder for your sniper to die. I would suggest detonating CS a lot more, like far into it, near like the entryway almost, and then it'll check every part of it. You don't need to actively roam or rotate into it. So it's like you could be sitting with your combo and doing it, and you could be covering so much more of it than just the little doorway. Same with like product on house, it's just like when more strats with the detonator, you can like spy check basically everywhere within a short proximity with it. Let's but doing pretty well in denying the Ubers, so getting proactive early is definitely nice. peek this corner, get blasted, and die. Happen. Team isn't really peeking that aggressively. Looks like they do get a collapse from U-turn there. But I would definitely like change the focus of your spy checking a little bit. Do more towards entryways, like, and use detonator a lot more for it. Especially since you're on detonator, like a lot of the time here, I try and incorporate it more into your own play. Like use detonator basically to spy check spots you wouldn't be spy checking otherwise to kind of extend your own reach. You're using it to spam very effectively, which is nice. See, like right on there, so yeah. And you'll just hit all in there. Maybe peek this corner, see what you're doing. Yep. See snipers there trying to light them on fire, switch back to primary because they're launching stickies. Yep. I would say keep peeking forward with your demo man and main there. They're all just kind of flooding for cart and trying to get in because it's such low time. You can probably trust your heavy or soldier to hold U-turn there. I'd say heavy, seeing as he's close to it anyway.
I don't know why I'm back from home record.
It's end of a round, nothing matters at that point. It's pretty good stuff for like pretty fresh play. See some good principles there.
Yeah, this was my first time playing.
Yeah, so it's like you definitely have some time to refine timings and like specifics for sure. I think you have some good baseline principles though, definitely. Doing pretty well on stuffing exchanges and fights.
Thanks to you, I am improving. You didn't see the demo of the first game I played.
Do I want to know?
No.
Understandable.
Well, because they didn't explain like what to do on the map, so I was just like I knew I was supposed to stay like with the medic and all that, but it was Swiftwater, and I just didn't know where to go, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, here like definitely your main goal is just to prevent them from being able to peek into the corners a lot of the time. Like if you're taking an Uber exchange on first, you're meeting them forward, you're preventing them from getting like space onto your gun from peeking into the corner and like killing players who aren't Ubered. Second, if you're holding forward, definitely as well. If you see the soldier like start going up on the hill, they expect a fast bomb, like swing a little bit to the left, so you like intercede in the doorway, and you can just hold right click or like hit right click and shove them backwards. Like you want to physically wedge yourself between the soldier and your medic instead of going wide there for sure. So it's like kind of like shadow your medic, follow your medic whenever you see like bombs and whatnot incoming, and then you'll find yourself protecting them a lot more anyways. He doesn't really get much done there though. But yeah. You're really playing for the corner denials on first. On second, if your team's playing porch as well, like you don't want them to be able to walk past and shoot on flash players in the corner of your engine gun. Third, same thing but even more important. Fourth, it's a lot more open-ended, but you don't want them really getting past here. I'd hold right click a bit more here, shove their pyre further in. And you send their medic in without Uber, but your team just sort of gets collapsed up on here. You meet them very aggressively, but I guess maybe your team could have been a bit more prepared for that. Like, I don't know. It was a weird fight for sure. You did outspace them pretty well, but if your team ends up not really being able to take advantage of like players being launched in, then I'd focus more on just preventing them from walking in entirely. Like it just depends on your own team to an extent.
I think I swapped off Spitnator here. I think I'm on shotgun.
Yeah, I'd probably recommend running Degreaser here in that case. Honestly, like Degreaser shotgun a very nice synergy together. Definitely stock with detonator though. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been running Degreaser lately, like Degreaser shotgun.
That's good.
On like Vigil.
I'd say like you could be spy checking a bit more here in general. Like when you're walking back there, I'd definitely be spending more time spy checking past there. Besides that, yeah, spot a swift spy central. There's a lot of things you're kind of looking at trying to deny there, though. You shove their Uber back, so that's good. But I'd definitely be watching more for like apartments and the little like one corner there, like the back end of it. Yeah, where spies normally linger around. And then if you ever like rotate back into the house, I would say just around like the little stairways and the entrances of the house. I think kind of rotating back towards the house ultimately is like what opened up room for their spy to go in for a stab there. But it's like if you spent a little bit more time spy checking, sort of like getting the entryways down, like, or that specific like corner spot down, Homework gun there, it's good. You probably like could have made the rotation a lot safer for you. It does seem like your team kind of struggles with dealing with spy in there in a bit though. But getting a lot of value from Wrecker, so that's good. You have to use here, yeah, alright, like they're trying to peek into the corner, that's fine. You are down a lot of players though. Honestly, I probably would have chased his cart sooner there. Your shoulder bombs and cleans up, so that's good though. Catch spy, it's good. Air blast him off, don't chase. Yeah. Yeah, once just chasing for cart there, like, I'd just say be on detonator and detonate cart there. Eventually the scout's gonna have to go off and get health if you keep mini-critting him for like 30s. Either that or just have somebody else in the team go for it. Especially when there are snipers in position there, it's just like you're gonna get sniped when you try and cross there. It is noble to try and stuff the cart though, for sure. Ooh, bit of a risky play.
I needed that health kit.
The alternative would be to just rotate out that entirely.
I got a newcomer brain.
I do like to see the aggression though. But you know, it's like all about how you use that aggression. Newcomer brain though. Protect heavy, yep. I was gonna be very sad if that heavy somehow died there. Those walk-ins for sure.
I didn't get them that here.
Nice.
We lose in 2 seconds though.
Yeah, your team just all died to sniper? Yes, and... yeah. It seems like your team has a tendency to die when these fights are being won.
Yeah.
Somehow. I don't know, I feel like they could just be like collapsing a lot more when they're doing so many players. Maybe they're just like not committing enough though, they're letting themselves split up, and then it's like even when they have a lot of picks, they just end up losing players because they divide themselves.
I noticed we stand around a lot.
Yeah, so I suggest even if you're getting kills, like maybe stand closer to them and make sure they just like die less, although if they're not really winning fights for your team or doing anything, like in general, I guess just try and play the game. It sounds like a bit of a more underlying team issue though, but it's like generally you kind of want your combo to be able to like match your level of aggression, or like to match your level of aggression to the combos. But if they're just like not winning your team games and just letting the enemy team roll your team, then I guess just try and go off and make things happen. It's fine.
They played the second playoff game when I was out of town and lost, unfortunately.
Unfortunate. But yeah, definitely just try and walk in at the same time as them, so it's like your chances of the rest of your team living for the picks you get increase a lot, so on and so forth. Good to have happen. Doesn't seem like your team does that a lot, though.
That's 5 at this part out.
Getting a lot of detonator value here. I'd probably prioritize the sniper though. They're going for a very like big peak. They force heavy dies, okay. There you'd want to get in the way of the medic, like rather than just like following where the medics are going to be, like going where the medic is right now. You want to get in the way of where the medic wants to go out. and then just be able to shove them back into your team and prevent them from regrouping with the enemy team. I think that was a very free medic kill there. I think your spy actually launched them out with a backstab or something. Yeah.
I was trying to get him off the cliff, but I didn't remember that he could leave up through the top.
Right, definitely just take the safe play there, but if you want to, he's going to be able to go through the top, that's fine. It's just like there's no need for anything fancy there if it can confirm the medic's death.
And our demo was unboxing during this.
Beats.
And he gets an unusual.
Spy dies? Cool. Air blast more there. When the pyros initially drop her down, just keep them physically away from your team. Unusual fire, cool. But that is definitely something you could be doing. Like, there's times where you're M1ing where you should be M2ing and vice versa. It's just like prioritize things for if it's something that's super close quarters and they're walking into your team and you don't have something heavy or a gun to take care of them, make sure that the pyro can't walk in. It doesn't matter if you're damaging them as much or not, as long as you have a source of healing and they don't, and they're not able to just walk into the rest of your team, then you should be winning that. It's all about like protecting there and physically denying. It doesn't matter if they die after they've already gone, like your sniper, your medic, or something else really important there. If it's something that can actually shoot back or outmaneuver you, then you definitely would be wanting to like just try and flame them down there and use your secondary to focus them. Yeah, definitely just focus more on like physically denying, I'd say. Free yourself as an object and your air blast as a tool and prevent enemies from walking in or out. Become the wall.
Yeah, I was really disappointed when that medic got away.
Yeah. Now you know though. A lot of air blasting in general just comes down to predicting. Trying to realize the exact moment they're going to peak, that the soldier's going to fire the rocket, that the spy is going to be going in for a stab, where the spy might go, so on and so forth, how they're going to react. Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate there. Probably be spending more time spy checking like the entrance way to the house, so by the time they're caught on fire you'll have time to turn around and react, or like they'll just back out of their doorway entirely, whereas if they get into the house and you start flaming them, there's still a chance of people not turning around, especially in lower divisions where it's like there isn't as much baseline awareness. To the moon!
I love the air blast to the ground.
Medic does die though. When they're going in for that Uber, it's fine for you to play forward and deny that. Your medic and or other players should be self-spy checking and expecting the spy to be going in when you are walking there. You'd be spending a bit of time spy checking just the transit times, but it is super important that the Uber gets stuffed so that your team can just walk out after getting that force. During this fight, either you or your heavy needs to be playing more passive and watching behind and spiral. Or just like the metal part of lower, definitely don't have you and your heavy consecutively taking the same fight, because that's going to happen. Their scout and soldier and or other players will walk in from behind. So either you're just like, working out with your team ahead of time, you're like going into the game. Is our Pyro going to be playing forward, going for the Uber exchange here, peeking with our demo, or is it going to be our heavy? Usually, I think the preferable answer would be heavy, because heavy can just outright shred a scout there. Shred soldiers. With a Pyro, you could still kind of be worried about scouts just like chipping you down if they have good DM and so on and so forth. With heavy, it's like very consistent presence though. And then your Pyro can just flood in and kind of shuffle them. But yeah, definitely just don't overcommit to that fight there. Have somebody be watching. Here you go for cart, you have to get on cart. Do not get cart. Yeah, that fight might have cost you. As well as just your medic dying, well, like at inopportune times to spy, yeah. And of course, that's something you could do more about. It's also something your team could do more about. That's something for your own team to look into. Alright, any questions, anything like that?
No, not really.
Alright.
Thank you.